Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. Thanks for joining us again here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell in the corner so you can be a part of the ongoing conversation of how we're going to create this world that is beyond emissions. Also as well, check us out, Beyond Emissions by Soligent, Spotify. We're at Spotify now as well. Okay, so the rhetorical question that we ask you every single week here at the Beyond Emissions podcast in creating this world that is beyond emissions. What does beyond emissions mean to you? Type that down in the comments section below. We'd be happy to have this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us every single week, making us number one here at the Beyond Emissions podcast. What does beyond emissions mean to you? It could be economical, it could be environment, it could be so many different factors really fit into what beyond emissions means. Potentially for you or someone else in the audience. And of course, we have expert guests from around the world coming on the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast every single week. That first question answers the why. What does it mean to you, beyond emissions? But also our expert guests that we have on the program from around the world are here to talk about the how. How are we going to accomplish this world that is beyond emissions? And I'm so blessed to work with amazing teammates at Soligent, again, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. If you'd like to partner with us, empowering customers in renewable energy systems, energy storage, solar, you name it, we're doing it every single day. You can partner with us by becoming a dealer. Click on the link below to join us at Soligent in our missions of creating this emissions-free future. I'm so blessed to get to work with amazing teammates every single week, every single day, amazing customers helping us create this world that is beyond emissions. On the program today, we have such an expert and such an amazing teammate that I work with every day. TJ Barrie, welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Likewise, every single week, you're working hand in hand with your teams and just thousands of customers out there, creating this world that is beyond emissions. One system, one home, one business, renewable energy project at a time. And I know that Soligent, deep down inside, that's our foundation here. And we don't just say it. We're not just doing this for a business. It really matters. We're really making a difference in creating this emissions-free future, right?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that there's a ton of moving parts when it comes to creating a world that is beyond emissions. And distribution in the solar industry is a very pivotal part of that, of those moving parts, because we supply a lot of these companies that are installing on homes and businesses that are doing everything from small residential to commercial, and that are building this world that is beyond emissions. We allow that engine, that I should say, when I say engine, I should say we allow that clean energy engine to keep running as we supply all of these companies. And so being part of this has been a huge blessing, as you mentioned, in my life, as I get to see the world take a cleaner footprint day in and day out as we're eliminating carbon.
And it's all quantifiable, right? TJ Barrie with us, Western sales director here at Soligent, the number one solar distributor in America, as far as I'm concerned. We are number one because we have the best customers in the world that are like-minded with us in this project of creating a world that is beyond emissions. The how, enabling and empowering our customers every day as a distributor, the largest pure play distributor in the Americas for solar. And at the end of the day, it's quantifiable, right, TJ? I mean, we literally see in our monthly meetings, our CEO, an amazing, attack on that footprint of getting out of the fossil fuel world and into the clean, renewable energy world. We actually see how many barrels of oil are no longer needed to supply X amount of energy. It's quantifiable, right?
Absolutely. Like what a lot of people would love to see and understand is that when you look at the amount of solar that we move on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, in a decade, that we literally are eliminating carbon footprint day in and day out. And literally every hour that I work at this company, I'm delivering product that is being installed on homes, on businesses, that is eliminating carbon footprint and eliminating the need for fossil fuels. It's putting us in a position where we're going to be able to live in this world a much longer time because we're using clean energy that's provided by the sun, and we're not building up the pollution on this earth. But like you said, absolutely, our CEO every single month puts up the numbers, and every single month Soligent has beat their old record of, hey, this is your new carbon footprint. And when they break it down per employee here at Soligent, we eliminate more carbon than our own carbon footprint every single day that we work. And so it's something pretty incredible to be part of.
And if you take the carbon footprint that it might take to manufacture a solar panel or manufacture energy storage or any of the other components that go into these renewable energy systems, we have to remember, for the naysayers that focus on that initial carbon footprint, what they don't focus on is a barrel of oil or other fossil fuels are taken out of the ground. It took millions of years to get those fossil fuels into the ground, and they're extracted out of the ground. They're burned up, put in the atmosphere, and used one time. Whereas when you manufacture and you distribute a solar panel, or you manufacture and distribute an inverter or energy storage or whatever the renewable energy component might be, you're doing that one time. But there's a lifetime of energy being created day after day after day. It's a different animal. It really is apples and oranges compared to fossil fuels, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the things about solar that's so wonderful is that it's absolutely used day in and day out. So the sun, as far as we know, ever since I've been alive, Josh, has come up every single day. Sure, there's been some cloudy days here and there, and we get some rain, but, you know, it's like clockwork. It's up in the morning, it's down at night. And when it comes up in the morning and it hits those solar panels, it starts generating. Sure, there's some degradation that happens with the solar panels over the years, but that degradation is minimal. And most of these solar panels that are on the market are starting to eclipse 25 or even 30-year warranties, where these companies are saying, hey, this can be used for 25 or 30 years. I don't know about you, Josh, but I haven't seen a single barrel of oil that can be used for 25 or 30 years.
No, it's burned one time. That's it. Energy is used. It's gone forever, except for the negative effects that come from those emissions and the carbon footprint. There's no comparison. TJ Barrie, Western Sales Director with Soligent, the largest Pure Play Solar Distributor in the Americas, here on Beyond Emissions today with us. I love working with you every day, TJ, and your team. You instill in your team, that saying, it comes from the top, and you make sure you instill that as well, that we're not just here for business. There's a purpose behind what we do, right?
Absolutely, there's a purpose. One of the things that I absolutely really cherish about my job is that when I check in with my teammates every day, and they're all of my salespeople, I get to ask them questions like, what is your why? And a lot of them have this driving force that's not just a job where they make money, not just a job where they get to show up every day so they can pay their bills, but they have a strong why. They have a foundational why because they get to support making the earth a greener, better place for their children, for their family, for their children's children. Very, very future-minded. And that drives all of them to not only do a great job and move a lot of product out the door, but to provide great customer experience and to make sure that they are top-notch salespeople. And if you ask any one of them about anything in the solar industry, whether it be inverters, batteries, solar panels themselves, even just the racking that holds the solar panels, they can all answer the questions without any problem whatsoever because they have such a passion at why they're industry experts. And it just has been really, really cool to work with people that have that level of expertise and have that great why that drives them on a daily basis.
And that does not happen by accident. It's education, education, education. Energy storage is the thing I do on the team as far as just educating everyone, customers, working with vendors to make sure we have the best energy storage options. We'll talk about NEM3 in California. I know that you're the Western Sales Director, so NEM3 in California for your team helping customers out here going to be huge. I've got a question for you, and we'll talk about that in a moment, that came from my friend Brad Hevner, Policy Director at CalSA on the last program. In just a moment. But, it doesn't happen. That expertise doesn't just fall out of the sky. Einstein once said, don't seek to be successful, seek to be valuable. And I see that with your team. Anytime we have a training, the TJ Barrie team is on the call. Anytime there's a chance to educate themselves, your team invests in themselves to become more valuable. Education, education, education. Right, TJ?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that that my team, like I said, instills in themselves is not only being the top-notch salesman and that they can be, or top-notch saleswoman even, but they want to make sure that they're people that can be relied upon when it comes to making this earth a greener place. They want, when people are getting into solar, which a lot of people are, Josh. So it used to just be the solar companies, right? And maybe then the electrical companies started getting into it, but now it's the air conditioning companies and the roofing companies. And a lot of these companies that are getting into it, they just don't know. They don't know about the financing programs. They don't know about the terms that they can get. They don't know about what products they should use, when they should use, the types of panels that are out there, the battery differences. There's just so much product out there and so much education. And my team does get to be industry experts, and they pride themselves on it. They offer a level of expertise that is unmatched in the industry. You won't find it at another distributor. Soligent is, in my opinion, maybe biased, but Soligent, in my opinion, provides a level of expertise and customer service that you definitely don't find anywhere else.
Second to none, folks. Second to none. Get online with us. Click the link below and join us here at Soligent. Become a dealer today. Number one question, TJ Barrie, Western Sales Director, Soligent, here on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Thank you again, TJ. Big question came at me from Brad Hevner, Policy Director, last program from CalSA, California Association of Solar and Storage Association, excuse me. Folks, by the way, go to calsa.org /join, calsa.org, calsa.org. Oh, there we go, Brumm. calsa.org /join and type in Soligent in the discount code and get 10% off your first year's membership with CalSA. The big question, TJ, that Brad said was the all installers during NEM3 coming up, storage is going to be a have to. No more selling back and getting retail rates with the utility in California. You're talking 8 cents or so a kilowatt hour. The ROI isn't there with that. So storage is going to be a have to. And because of that, after April 14th in California under NEM3, installers and dealers out there are going to be looking for energy storage and stock. And Brad goes, the main problem, this is what he said, the main problem is supply. I don't know if we're going to have enough supply in stock in California for people to get a battery that they need to be able to comply with NEM3. Is stock even going to be available? I said, hey, hold on. I work at Soligent. And I happen to know, TJ, echo my sentiment, please. We're going to have stock for our installers and energy storage for NEM3 customers in California, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. You know, when we saw NEM 3.0 coming down the road, as a distributor, we started making big plays and placing a lot of really big POs, going out to different companies, everything from Enphase to Solar Edge, Simplify, Fortress. I mean, we're placing POs out there, Home Grid, you know, with all these different battery companies, because we want to make sure that we're positioned. Like I said, I've repeated it over and over since you've had me on this call, but we want to make sure we're positioned to be industry experts, to be valuable, and to be reliable. And so we will have stock. Absolutely, Josh. We are stocked up and ready to go.
Yeah. And a lot of distributors out there, they're playing the, well, we're going to wait and see game. And that doesn't work too well. It's almost like the kid who has a report due on Monday. They've had a whole month to do it and they start working on it on Sunday. That's not the way to be prepared for NEM3 in California, really any business venture, right? Talk a little bit about that. Preparedness is key for NEM3, right, TJ?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of these big distributors, a lot of these big installers out there, when this starts happening, are going to start sucking up product. And so what's going to happen is, for these companies that wait too long in order to get behind the ball, these big companies are going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to say, hey, I want to buy bulk batteries to make sure I'm stocking my warehouse so that I can meet this demand. And when that happens, all of these distributors out there that are playing the wait and see game are going to find themselves having to place a lot of POs, and they're going to find out from these battery companies, but wait, there's 27-week lead times. And they're going to say, what do you mean 27-week lead times? Well, because big distributors like Soligent have already placed their POs, and we're making batteries for them, and Soligent has the stock. The good news is, Josh, there's good news. There's silver lining here. We're going to have it in stock. So they're not going to have to worry about it.
That is so good. I come from a world of battery distributors where the latter is not the case. They are in the boat of waiting 27 weeks, 4 months, or whatever it might be, 4 to 6 months lead time. Installers with your projects out there, can you wait 4 to 6 months before you can get product? I don't think so. The key is to be prepared. And if you partner as a dealer and join us here at Soligent, you'll be able to be a part of the camp. We're like Boy Scouts, right, TJ? We're the Boy Scouts that packed everything in our backpack, everything ready to go. We've got the first aid kit, the whole enchilada, metaphorically speaking. We're going to be prepared. And for those dealers and installers that join Soligent, they're going to be prepared as well.
Absolutely. You've seen shows where we call preppers, where people have these pantries that are just full of all kinds of different food and supplies and things so they can last months and months in the event of a catastrophic situation that happens. Well, we're like that in the solar industry. We're very much preppers. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but we have over $100 million, in stock of solar panels, batteries, racking, inverters, electrical balance of system supplies. I mean, we are positioned strategically to be able to go after customers, take on business, be reliable, supply companies, and we move that product and we turn that product on a pretty regular cadence. So we're set to be a very, very, very big, reliable part of the industry. And we're looking forward to our name getting out there and moving the needle in big ways when it comes to that carbon footprint. But yeah, yes, Josh, I 100% agree with you.
Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas, and reliable. And reliable is a big thing. I love that you said that, TJ. Being a reliable source and great service with efficiency as well. I heard that Soligent, not too far after I came on board here, that we're offering the ability to ship to job site or right to the customer. Talk a little bit about some of those service advantages that customers can get by joining up and becoming an installer or dealer here at Soligent.
Yeah, so in some of our markets where our large warehouses are located, we do have job site delivery, so literally meaning no warehouse at all. They order the product from us. We load it up on our truck the night before, and early in the morning, we shoot out to their warehouse, drop it off in the driveway, meet the installers there, and say, happy installing, right? Able to help them with that. We also have a solar engine department, a whole nother kit and caboodle there, where Josh Tenolia has been so gracious to run that department for us and do all of our solar finance. So I mean, you can get over there and do all of our direct pay stuff. He has everybody from GoodLeap to SunGauge, Dividend, and we're constantly bringing on people more. We have Sunlight in the works. We're working to get Mosaic on board. I mean, it's incredible the different opportunities you can have working with us through direct pay. And we even have programs like consignment, Josh, where people can come to us and have warehouse spaces. We'll work with them on specialty terms where we basically stock their warehouse like it's our warehouse, set them up with an inventory management system, and help them grow their business in a way that other distributors just aren't. So we have a lot of different elements to our business that not only help us grow, but help other solar installers grow. And the reason that's so important for us, Josh, is because if they're growing and they're installing more and they're selling more, then they're making a bigger impact, which means we're making a bigger impact. And like I said at the beginning, that's what we're all about.
Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. It is our mission in creating a world that is beyond emissions. So when you partner with us, TJ Barrie, Western Sales Director here at Soligent, and his team, our entire team, frankly, here, we have that mission in our hearts. It's our foundation. And as you're successful, as we're successful, we're not just counting the dollars. We're also counting what's most important, and that's the difference we're making in this planet, in our world, in people's lives. And you mentioned that business success, that is a part of it, a world that is beyond emissions. It's not the antithesis of success. It is a same factor. It is equal. If we're successful in this industry, we're going to continue to be the industry, the clean energy industry, the solar, renewable energy storage industry. Soligent is leading the way. And as folks are partnering with us, their businesses are growing. That equals jobs, jobs, jobs. Brad Hevner from CalSA said the other day that the solar industry is responsible for more jobs, and I mean good paying jobs, quality jobs, in America. In California he was speaking to, but in America it's amazing the employment factor of the solar business and what we do every day in helping people grow their business and be successful. It helps the environment, but it's also great for the economy beyond emissions as well, right, TJ?
Oh, it's wonderful for the economy. So not only does it do a lot of employment right now in America and in California, but the projection of employment is supposed to tenfold what it currently is with new industry components coming on here in America, new manufacturing components coming on here in America. So over the next 4 or 5 years, we expect to see the solar industry boom here in America, similar to how it has in China, to where in to where it's employing a vast majority of people. And like I said, 10 times we expect that employment to boom. So it's a very, very important part of our industry, a very important part of our country, I should say. And the industry is blowing up, not only making the country, not only making the world a cleaner place, but also providing employment, providing stability, and once again, providing reliability, right? So solar in and of itself is becoming reliable not only in the fact that it works every single day when the sun comes up, not only that it's, providing employment, but also because it's making the earth a greener, better place. It's really great just seeing how it's multifaceted out there.
I am so glad you mentioned that. Our CEO showed us some numbers on a graph the other day on our team meeting, showing the solar business in the United States, where it is now and where it's going to be in 2028 in America, in the good old US of A. I was like, oh my gosh, we haven't even scratched the surface because of this investment act that we just passed this last year, where we're going to be investing in making renewable energy products in the United States of America. Supply chains are going to shorten, employment's going to go up, quality's going to go up, reliability's going to go up, and sales are going to go up from what I saw. And was I crazy, or did I see what you saw? That not only is production in the United States about ready to grow potentially tenfold in the next 8 to 10 years, but we may also become a net exporter of these products as well. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that's actually what we did see in there, that as a stronghold in the industry, as we continue to grow and get multifaceted approaches landing for us right here in America, it is going to allow us to not only make the product, not only install the product, not only become really, really big employers or employee supporters of the industry, but also exporters of the product, supporting other countries, growing the footprint of solar, making the entire earth a greener, better place. Absolutely.
We're beyond emissions, and that is our goal here at Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. A leader on our team, Western Sales Director, TJ Barrie. You and your team, I work with you guys every day. I love you and your team so much, especially your investment that your team is constantly making in their education to become more valuable and helping move further along this mission of creating an emissions-free future. And I love working with you as well. TJ Barrie, Soligent is a great place to work as well. I know we're always looking for great people to add to the team. Let our listeners know if we happen to have any great qualified folks out there that might be interested in joining a great team like Soligent. Let them know about job opportunities potentially here at Soligent.
Yeah, we're always looking to hire top-rated salespeople that want to become industry experts is the key. Not just people that get out there and have a silver tongue, but people that want to learn and become reliable, people that want to go with the ebbs and flows. We call the industry the solar coaster for a reason. Because there's a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns, because it is technology. It is something that's constantly changing. And if people want to join an industry that's willing to make, that is making the earth a greener, better place to live, and then at the same time learn about a product and become an industry expert and become reliable and become valuable and become knowledgeable, then sales positions here are always growing. We're growing so fast as a company, we're constantly looking for sales positions. If you go to our website, www.soligent.net, and click on career opportunities there, you can constantly see postings for both internal account managers, which is a remote position, as well as external account managers, which are territory-based, whether you're someone that's hitting the road and kicking in doors and building relationships and bringing that customer to fruition and showing them how Soligent can best serve them and giving them our value proposition. Or you're someone that works internally and says, I'm going to process all of this data and I'm going to crunch the numbers and I'm going to make sure that this customer's taken care of and I'm going to get the orders processed and get the things out the door and work with the warehouses. We have positions constantly open in both so that we can support both sets of skills, but always looking for people to fill those roles and become part of the Soligent family.
Yeah, and I have to say this. There's companies out there that say we've got a great culture. TJ, I came on board a little hesitant at first. Who really has that kind of a great culture for real? No, Soligent does. Hashtag awesome place to work. Oh my gosh, our company rocks, TJ. The culture here, speak to that a little bit. It really does come from the top down. And, they really do care about their people and put their people first here at Soligent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I've noticed working here is when I first started, even though it's a sales industry, even though we're constantly moving product and we're working with other customers, it's the only sales company I've ever worked for that doesn't seem to have any cutthroatness to it. Everybody definitely works off of the premise, one team, one dream. And it's been really, really neat seeing everyone work together to not only become the industry experts, like I've mentioned several times, but also to make sure that they can help each other become better experts. I've never seen such a great group of people work together so collaboratively. And like you said, Josh, when you come in, you've noticed it as well. You get brought right into the fold. If you interview and you become part of this team and you come in and you work with us, there's no you're the outsider. There's no you have to work your way in. You get brought right in like a chick under Mama Hen's wing, right? Just right into the fold. And we work together in a way that makes people become industry experts, and our turnover is super, super low. And so I love the culture here because very rarely do we have people go. We have several people that have worked here 10 plus years, and not only allows them to become better experts, but they could go anywhere because of their expertise. They could jump ship, and they don't, because they don't believe they can find somewhere else that is going to treat them the way Soligent does. And what a lot of people don't realize, when we get together as a company and we strive to provide that type of an environment, it just really shows when the company gets together. When people have hardships and everyone chips in and says, no, you have a hardship and we're going to make sure that you're taken care of when people are, going through something exciting in their lives, and everyone chips in and says, oh my gosh, that's so good, and congratulates. Everybody's wishing each other happy birthday all the time on the like, it's a remote company that you would feel like we all work together in one big office. So it's really, really neat seeing how close we are as a company and how everybody works so hard to prop each other up and to get each other to be in a successful position.
Hashtag awesome place to work. I love working here. Josh Brumm, energy storage manager with Soligent, and I feel like I'm a part of the family. I love working here. If you're interested in joining an amazing team, go to soligent.net, look up careers for what positions are available. We're looking for warehouse people, drivers, etc. We're all on the same team with the same mission, driving us forward to create this world that is beyond emissions. And my partner in crime here today, thank you so much, TJ Barrie, Western Sales Director here at Soligent. Coming up on a hard break, so we got to go to break. But TJ, before we go, any parting thoughts? And also as well, let our listeners know if they're interested in becoming a dealer or an installer, part of our awesome installer network here at Soligent. What's the best next step? Click the link below, obviously, but in your opinion, what are the next best steps that they can take to get on board with a reliable distributor like us here at Soligent?
Absolutely. It's super, super easy. We don't make it complicated at all here because we want to get you guys up and running as soon as possible. You go to www.soligent.net. You click on the link at the top that says Become a Dealer, and you fill out the dealer application and click Submit. It's via a DocuSign. It comes over. We review it. We reach out to you guys. We make sure we select the appropriate salesperson in your area or that's over your territory that your account is slotted for, and they start working with you from that point on. Have you fill out that dealer application? We set up an account with you. We can work on getting you a credit line. It's just bada boom, bada bing. We make it super easy. We start selling you product. We start filling your warehouse, and we start making you successful.
That's awesome. TJ Barrie, Western Sales Director here at Soligent. Thanks so much for being on the Beyond Emissions podcast and an amazing teammate to work with, brother. Hang on the line for our engineers, and we'll be right with you. Thanks so much for joining us today, TJ.
You got it. Thank you.
Beyond Emissions podcast. Amazing, amazing people. Leads to amazing team success. I mean, don't you want to do business with a company where we're not eating our own and constant internal competition? The collaboration that TJ speaks of and the investment in our own education to become more valuable for you and your customers every single day as it pertains to renewable energy, solar energy storage is just at the top of our list. And don't you want to work with a company that's like that has a culture like that cares about their people? I know I do. So thankful for you joining us today on the program, for listening. We'll be right back after this. Jason Andrade, an amazing friend of mine here on the Beyond Emissions podcast, going to be talking about a world that is beyond emissions. His expertise throughout the years. I met him years ago at an Outback Power class. And still to this day, we laugh and talk about that. I can't wait to have him on the program. So coming up next, stick around. Jason Andrade, industry expert in helping us create this world that is beyond emissions. Also now working as product trainer for Enphase battery. We'll talk a little bit about NEM3, sizing and designing systems. Excited to have Jason on the program. Coming up next, right here. Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more. CALSSA, CALSSA, stands for California Solar and Storage Association. Join over 700 companies, including Soligent, and become a CALSSA member today. Go to www.calssa.org/join and enter Soligent as the discount code and receive 10% off your first year. Membership starts as low as $500 per year and covers you and your entire company. You can pay in monthly installments or once per year. Why join CALSSA? For over 40 years, CALSSA has been fighting for your rights in California. If you're an installer or contractor in California, it's CALSSA working behind the scenes on your behalf to protect the solar and energy storage business you and your companies rely on each day. Imagine the utilities are totally unchecked without CALSSA fighting for you. CALSA fights for your rights and also provides resources like direct one-on-one support from their experts to help you with your questions, navigating everything from NEM3 to battery fire code compliance. CALSA will help you and your company to stay up to date on the latest policy changes that impact the California solar and storage market and your bottom line. Joining CALSA helps to fund their work to lobby for cutting solar and storage red tape, pass pro-solar laws, and to defend your business from attacks. Become a CALSA member today at www.calsa.org/join and enter the discount code Soligent to receive 10% off your first year. CALSA is fighting for you and your business. Join over 700 companies like Soligent and make a difference in the California solar and energy storage market today. Welcome back, Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest Pure Play Solar Distributor in the Americas. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast here at Spotify and also as well at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell in the corner, and be a part of our ongoing conversation about what it's going to take to create a world that is beyond emissions. And welcome back to the show. For listening every single week right here. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And of course, TJ Barrie, Western Sales Director for Soligent on the Beyond Emissions podcast with us today. Again, going into that mission that we have of creating this emissions-free future and how important it's going to be for our kids, our grandkids, but also as well the here and now. So many great reasons why we want to work hard in creating this world that is beyond emissions. And our next guest, a friend of mine, I met him, 7-8 years ago at an Outback Power certification class up in Arlington, Washington, a week-long class. Experts from around the world, teachers, including some of the experts that are students in the class that I was able to meet, have dinner with, and talk with, and learn from. And Jason Andrade was one of those experts. I call him an expert because, wow, I've just being around the guy, I learned so much in the span of just that week in the class, hearing some of the questions that he asked from our expert teacher, Roy Nungen, who taught several of those classes. And we learned so much from each other, not just the instructor. And Jason was one of those experts that I remember. And then we maintained a friendship ever since then. And amazing that we get to have him on the program. He's working as a product trainer now, so appropriately, in energy storage and energy and solar for Enphase Energy. Available, by the way, at Soligent. We offer Enphase solutions. Click on the link below and get in touch with your Soligent dealer today to have an opportunity to access Enphase Energy solutions today. Jason Andrade, welcome to Beyond Emissions. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Josh. Thanks for having me. I'm glad that we could finally connect on your forum here and have a good conversation.
Oh, and I just let the audience know, but wow, we go way back. I still remember just wet behind my ears, sitting there with my calculator and my notebooks, trying to learn everything I could about energy storage. I got into the battery world, primarily starting batteries, fleet batteries. If it was deep cycle, it was most likely golf. Now, there's a benefit to that because I have an undertow or a foundation of all things batteries. And understanding all of that helps me so much in this world that we live in today. So I'm thankful for that bedrock or that foundation or those early beginnings. But as I was beginning to walk down the path of trying to gain more knowledge in energy storage as it relates to solar, renewable energy projects, I said, I got to learn more. And so where else should I go? But at that time, Outback Power, the premier inverter place to go at that time, or one of the premier inverter places to go and turn to. And I said, I'm going to go to their certification class. Mm-hmm. And that's where I met you. Roy Nungen, expert professor there, was teaching our class. And I cozied up to people like you because I knew if I hung out with people like you, I was going to learn more. It's all about education in this world, right? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what this industry is about. I mean, I kind of cut my teeth in solar. In 2001, I was building my first off-grid house out by Shasta Lake. And for me, it just happened to be when the towers got hit, and it kind of cemented where I wanted to head with my industry and my career as far as being an electrician and doing, sustainable projects that really kind of the foundation of it was self-reliant. And being a young guy that only knew some electrical, I needed to get some solar training. And I was fortunate that a fellow from Arizona, John Shaw, the energy consultant, who also worked with you at Battery Systems, man, he taught me over the phone. I asked him logical questions, and he gave me good answers. And gosh, I've been friends with him since then. And it kind of cemented also like this is really a pay it forward industry, if you will. One of the things about solar and renewable energy is, people typically are open to educating others and promoting growth and knowledge sharing. And, I started working on forums and gaining education and then sharing knowledge. And that's just really kind of how it's transpired to get here.
And that's what this show's all about. We're all about collaboration and knowledge, education and sharing the education, which is why we have experts from around the world. Jason Andrade with us from Enphase Energy. I think you're a great expert, a good example of who to turn to in these days as we're looking to capitalize on the benefits of renewable energy. Somebody who has, like you said, cut your teeth ever since 9/11. I mean, really, that's a long time ago. I mean, amazing when we look back on our clocks or our watches, if you will, and like, holy smokes, was it really that long ago? But yeah, and so throughout those years, you're able to gain a lot of knowledge and a lot of it through experience. But, sometimes in this business, making the mistakes is how we learn the best. I happen to say, by the way, Jason Andrade with us here, Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. Josh Brumm, your host. So happy that you're listening to us today, learning everything we can about renewable energy storage, and solar. And creating this beyond emissions future. Mistakes, like one of my first mistakes early on was I did not know that a refrigerator only runs maybe 6 hours total a day. So I was doing a load evaluation for an off-grid system, and I was taking 1,200 watts for the fridge times 24 hours. And I'm like, how is this system's huge. No one's ever going to buy it. And then I find out from experts like yourself, no, that fridge is only actually running maybe 6 hours a day or so, depending on the ambient temperature in the home. Things like that, making mistakes. But when you learn from those mistakes, it takes you so much further down the path of being helpful to others, right?
Yeah. And thankfully too, with off-grid systems, it's really hard to actually oversize an off-grid system, because typically you get in a home and you start adding more appliances. The usage always creeps up. Your system always, declines on how much it can hold. So thankfully for you, that oversize might have helped you inadvertently.
Right. Well, that's another thing. I always sized just based on, okay, here's the amount of energy that I'm consuming, divide by 5 hours of peak sun, there's your PV array. And then I learned, no, you have to account and add up all the inefficiencies, the inverter, the charge controller, the battery, the loss, the panels themselves, etc., all the inefficiencies together. And that can be anywhere from a 40 to 60% oversize of the PV array needed to make sure the batteries aren't in a partial state of charge environment. Although that's not damaging lithium these days, still you're not getting your full state of charge and your full capacity when that's happening if you're not properly oversizing your PV array, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or you're going to rely on more fossil fuels, right, which what we're really trying not to do. And it's really inadvertent. I mean, it's very hard to design it even, with larger off-grid systems to have no, subsidization of fuel source from like a backup generator. For instance, we just went through this last few weeks of really rainy weather. And even though I have 50 kilowatt hours of simplified lithium on my house, I have some generator runtime. It's very hard to not have that little bit of subsidization at some point in time, unless like it is, unless you're living in Arizona or Hawaii, right? There you can get away with it. But where we are, when you're living off grid remote, you're going to have that subsidization, unfortunately.
So you live off grid. Is this your personal home that is ran off of renewable energy?
100%. Yeah, we've been off grid for 10 years. We bought a foreclosure home, and it was pretty torn apart when we got it because it had been stripped out. But we slowly rebuilt this place, and now we have a 40-acre place in Northern California. And this is what really allowed me to kind of take my education to the next level. When you live off grid, you really understand it. I kind of become like the Bubba Gump of solar. I got solar palm pumps, solar well pumps, solar air conditioning, off-grid systems. The goal has really been to I use it as part of my business also when I was an install contractor to both, learn the products that I was installing. But I was fortunate also to have relationships with manufacturers that allowed me to create content. I've done some great content creation with Discover Battery, Outback Power. I mean, my street name is Outback Power Lane. I've got Dan Pumps that we have out here that we've done some videos with them. So I've been fortunate that social media, also capitalizing on that with my build quality, allowed me to really get to build some neat stuff.
Let's share that with our listeners. Listeners, write this down. Jason Andrade with us, expert in renewable energy, friend of the Brummster here on Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. And by the way, if you're interested in becoming a Soligent dealer and having access to all these great opportunities, just click on the link below. Jason, though, share with our listeners. Write this down, folks. Go check out Jason's videos. Where can our listeners find your videos at, my friend?
Yeah, pretty easy. My company, even though I'm not actively building, is West Coast Sustainables. So you can just Google West Coast Sustainables and find me there. Or you can just search YouTube for Jason Andrade, and I'll pull up number one, I think, on that as well.
Nice. Jason Andrade, West Coast Sustainables. Type that in, search for that, and you can check out these really cool videos, some excellent content. Again, we're all about sharing the best of the best, and we're so glad that you're here with us today. Thank you for listening every week, listeners, to Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast. We jumped right into the conversation. I just going down memory lane with you, Jason. But I ask the listeners, I ask you this every week, folks. What does Beyond Emissions mean to you? And Jason, what are your thoughts? What does Beyond Emissions mean to you, Jason?
Well, I think it's really getting to a point in time where we're just having to reduce carbon footprint, which is really kind of tough to do as consumers. Right? We consume a lot of different things. I know even being off the grid, that doesn't necessarily equate to environmentally less impactful, right? Because I am my own power source, and it still has that. So I guess beyond emissions just means reducing and living as cleanly as you can. We do ourselves. We do a lot of recycling. We do have solar power, which I guess after the initial, installation and the manufacturing of it, at least it gives you a decent length of time if you can size it properly. Lead acid batteries, living off the grid, one of the things about them that I do like that's actually a pro as we talk about lead versus lithium is the recyclability, right? So we try to look for things that are heavily recycled with a lot of the stuff that we do.
That's something that most people don't realize is that lead acid batteries are the most recycled products on planet Earth, more than plastic bottles, aluminum cans, more than cardboard. 99% or almost 99% of all lead acid batteries get recycled and turned into brand new batteries. There's nothing else out there that touches it. I know the performance isn't exactly the same as lithium or the longevity and the efficiency. There are some issues with it, which is why it's not right for every application. But where you can fit it in and make it a part of your application, you really are doing something sustainable more so than any other product. I mean, you're absolutely right. Speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about I would actually say that the longevity of a lead acid system could be debated. A properly sized system. I was like my first off-grid system I ever built. It lasted 14 years on the original battery. That's a great lifetime, right? And the thing about the lead, the one real primary benefit to them is there really isn't any moving parts, right? We don't have battery management systems. There's less electronics. the downside has always been the maintenance. And most homeowners typically do not maintain lead acid batteries correctly. It's hard for even a pro to do, or somebody that's really in tune with it. So that's really been the downside. I mean, my last big project that I did was I built Jerry Brown's off-grid residence or his power system when he retired. And we debated all of the different types of technologies that were out there. I had not done lithium at that point in time, but we talked about the maintenance factor built in with lead acid. And, we decided that lithium was going to be the best way to go. And because of that, we're at 5 years of him having a pretty smooth sailing off-grid system and having a positive experience. And that's been one of the hardest things with off-grid really is the energy storage portion of it.
I forgot about that. Governor Brown's personal system. You're the one who installed that, Jason?
Yeah, my son and I built all that. It was a really good experience, and I'm still friends with him today. And we talk about all things solar and utility related. It's been a good experience.
Oh, that is so cool. And so what do you think about, NEM2, NEM3, CALSA, the fight for rooftop solar that's taken many different iterations over the past couple of decades? What are your thoughts about all that? I know Governor Brown was a big proponent.
Yeah, no, he is of the solar and pushing the industry. I would say there needs to be checks and balances in the sense that I agree with a surcharge for solar customers myself, even being a solar guy. And I think that comes from understanding the cost and the impact of what a battery system adds on top of it. And when you look at the utility as let's look at it as a version of your battery, to add that additional cost to store that power does decrease or increases the cost of what your renewable system would be. And looking at the infrastructural cost of the grid, it does make sense that there's a charge. I don't know that I necessarily agree with the way that the rate structure worked out for NEM3. It's unfortunate that that all new systems going forward to even have a remotely realistic ROI are going to have to include storage. So it'll be interesting to see where the industry evolves. Thankfully, with Enphase, we have a great platform that's going to easily allow installers or homeowners to add energy storage to their existing combiner and be able to do peak load shedding to kind of help store that power and discharge it just to their loads. So, as a company, we're sitting in a pretty good position, but it definitely is going to increase the cost of it. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am. I thought to myself, I wish it didn't work out this exact way. Regardless of some of the details, I do see that it is going to be a windfall for everyone in the storage business. And it didn't have to work out exactly that way. I do happen to have a bias though. I believe that storage has a lot of other benefits beyond just trying to game a net metering system. In getting an ROI. You live off grid. So for example, having that peace of mind of knowing you're going to have certain things running when the grid goes down. You're in Northern California. We just got hit by a lot of storms. Outages, maybe me here in Central California, not so much. But in Northern California, holy smokes, the number of outages that you guys have compared to the rest of the state, big difference, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Ultimately, I'm somebody that likes to be prepared and take care of myself. And honestly, I don't care where I live. I'm not going to have a battery-based system just because the unknowns of the world. For me, it's a security aspect, and because I can do it myself, and it started off as a hobby, I like having a battery-based system that can power my home and have reliance. I think that for me, it automatically pays for itself. I don't look at the ROI aspect of the storage.
Right. You become your own independent power plant. You get to rely on yourself. I mean, my wife and I, we were even talking the other day with the price of eggs, like, should we get some chickens? You can't depend on everyone else for everything. And where you can be self-sufficient, maybe in this new brave world, maybe that's how we should be looking at storage. That's an excellent point. Jason Andrade with us today on Beyond Emissions podcast. So energy independence, peace of mind, just having that independence period of not having to rely on the grid, but be able to take care of yourself and take care of yourself in a crisis when everyone else is scrambling, maybe even being that neighbor that can lend a helping hand to the older lady across the street who doesn't have power. There's lots of benefits to having energy storage, to having this energy independence. And Jason lives off the grid here on the Beyond Emissions podcast, so you know better than anyone else what it's like to have that, rest in your own hands and not in the hands of outside forces. I love it. So you mentioned Enphase. Enphase Energy, folks, available here at Soligent. Click on the link below. Join us. Become an Enphase dealer today. We're happy to get you set up with training. You are working for Enphase Energy. I saw that the other day, Jason, when we were on that call with a customer. And I was like, holy smokes, is that who I think it is? You came to work for a great place, and they're so blessed to have you, as are we. Tell our listeners about, how you landed at Enphase Energy and, what makes Enphase Energy stand out in all of the other options available out there.
Yeah, I was a contractor for 8 years roughly with my solar company. And as I looked at getting older and the knowledge that I had to come up with the strategy of where I was going to take my career. And thankfully, using social media and the, the generation that I had with manufacturers, I was able to use LinkedIn and transition into a good role. I've been here for 2 years now, and I was a field application engineer before switching over to the product training team. And I'm lucky now to be able to kind of help educate on all the new products that we're releasing and where we're going to head in the future. And our product is really, it's a phenomenal one. I mean, the module level protection MLPE that microinverters add is beneficial in multiple ways. Fire safety, they're lower voltage and they are guaranteed to be safer because of the rapid shutdown that's integrated into them. And so what Enphase did is they actually migrated those microinverters into their battery, right? So there's not a real singular source. Everything is about redundancy with this platform. So if you have 10 kilowatt hour batteries, you really have 3 batteries inside of there with multiple microinverters. So you just have a little bit more reliability built into the system because of that. So overall, with our plan of where we're heading, it just keeps getting better and better with each release, with what we can offer. I
was going to say, and when we think of Enphase, it's like thinking of cotton swabs, Q-tips, or, Kleenex for tissues. It's like Enphase, when you think of microinverters, you think Enphase. Like the brand recognition is out there for a reason, right? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no problem. My other role that I do function as well as a generator subject matter expert, just because of my background with storage and generators. And we really have, when you look at it, one of the neatest kind of platforms out there as far as it's more like a power mesh. When everything is running, because it's all AC coupled, it's really able to utilize all these power sources and have a pretty good platform. So it's pretty exciting, as a guy that likes technology. So.
What do you think about, just the idea, is it so much more efficient? And I've always thought this, so tell me if I'm wrong. Is it so much more efficient because the AC is being made right at the panel versus traveling down to a string inverter? And then also at the same time, the AC is being made alternating current right there at the battery versus going from the battery to a string inverter. Are there some efficiency gains going on there for the customer?
It really depends when the power is being used as far as efficiency. If the power is being utilized right when it's being, produced, not having to go through the storage conversion, it is very efficient. I think where it really comes down to is the safety factor for a lot of it, and the shading aspect. We also, because we're using power line communications, we have some other features that we can utilize as well with communicating with the system. The other real benefit is it's a single manufacturer for the whole system. So you're not dealing with 3 different manufacturers for one system trying to determine who might have a problem. We have a granularity within our system that we're pretty able to diagnose problems and solve what could potentially be wrong very fast because of that. And realistically, as a company, when you look at the support factor that we have from product training to field service technicians to customer support, we have a very good team of people that are helping keeping systems running, especially in emergencies.
Enphase Energy, Jason Andrade with us today on the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast at Spotify and the Soligent YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Be a part of this ongoing mission to create a world that is beyond emissions, and get your Enphase energy solutions from Soligent. Become a dealer. Click on the link below. We love Enphase here at Soligent. I love Enphase. I've been selling it for years as well. Your solutions are just second to none. I love it. Now, what is the, for our audience, maximum storage that they can get? How many kilowatt hours of usable storage? Again, lithium iron phosphate, go into that as well. It's a much safer chemistry in the lithium family. Not all lithium is the same. Maybe talk a little bit about that. Safety is key. Longevity as well, more life cycles with lithium iron phosphate versus traditional NMC, for example. But when it comes to max amount of kilowatt hours of total storage that a customer can get, how big can an Enphase system be scaled for them?
Yeah, with the storage, with the current offering for what we call the system controller, which is basically our MID, our switch, kind of our heart of the system, you can do 40 kilowatt hours of storage and up to about 16 kW of PV per system. So you're able to stack, you're able to have multiple system controllers in an infrastructure, but they can't be tied to the same panel. So you kind of would have to break those up, but 40 kilowatt hours is the base. And
that's good. That's good. And you're also at the same time, you're at the battery level where the inverter is. The inverters are in the battery. Folks, if you want to check it out, what is it? Encharge? Is that what they'll want to look up on YouTube to see the batteries basically, holding it's almost like little cards that go down in the microinverters that go right into the batteries. It's so cool. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so each battery, let's say for each 3 kilowatt hours or 3.3 kilowatt hours, there's 4 microinverters inside of there that are converting the power from DC to AC and also charging the battery when the sun is available. And so that's where the redundancy comes in. If there is a problem with a microinverter, we do have the ability to just change out one microinverter versus just having to change a whole battery, which makes it easier for the installer. So that's one of the things that makes it really handy. And again, you were saying that, our battery is lithium iron phosphate, which is a safer chemistry. And hopefully, we are able to provide a little more comfort with using that technology.
Yeah. And most people don't realize this, but the Tesla battery that's out there, that's NMC, nickel, manganese, cobalt. Safety-wise, those batteries are much more prone to cascade failure, thermal runaway issues. Not so with lithium iron phosphate, a much, much safer chemistry. And in addition, although it's not as energy dense as NMC, which really doesn't matter. We're not building cars here. It's stationary systems inside of a home, so it's not that important that it's a hair bigger to be a lot safer and get longevity, more life cycles, generally speaking, of usable storage when it comes to lithium iron phosphate versus NMC, correct?
Correct. Yes. I mean, at my personal residence, I'm at my system I have right now, I'm at batteries that are 5 years old, and they're still holding good. And I'm pretty happy with lithium iron phosphate myself. I actually have 2 systems that are using lithium batteries.
Yeah, you get longevity, plus you get a lot of other advantages, and the ability, if you're switching over, we love lead acid for certain, applications. But, the ability to fast charge when you're dealing with inclement weather, the sun's not shining, you do need to maybe occasionally fire up a generator, another alternative power source. And you can't have that generator run for 5 hours to get your batteries topped off and not have a partial state of charge environment issue with sulfation like you would with lead acid. Whereas the lithium iron phosphate, it's like opening up the fire hose and it just takes it all in, right? The acceptance is a lot different, correct?
Yeah, they have a much higher charge rate, I believe, in like the C2 realm. So you're able to fill that up quite a bit faster as long as your system can facilitate that. That's been the biggest issue on some of these systems is we can put a lot of storage, but we need to make sure that we're actually able to keep up with the charging. On my personal wood shop system that I have that's off grid, we actually had to back down the charging. It was actually, the batteries and inverters would just take more than my generator would even put out versus my lead system, which had to have a slower charge rate. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And for all these different variables, that is why all the years of experience and education and ongoing learning are so important. I give trainings from time to time, and I don't claim to be the expert. Here I am. I've got you. You're an expert on our show, and that's why
I'm still learning.
Well, I mean that's why I can feel like I'm okay, is because I'm not relying on just my expertise. I'm relying on all my friends and colleagues and experts from around the world that are helping to continually educate me and our listeners. And it's so important that we always continue in this ongoing education, because, I'm doing some trainings, Jason Andrade, again from Enphase Energy, joining us today on the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. So, Jason, I'm doing a training upcoming, and one of my first slides, it says right there, if selling energy storage was as easy as just selling solar, everybody would already be doing it. I don't believe, that energy storage is just not feasible for everyone, and that's why they don't do it. I think what happens a lot of times, and maybe I'm wrong, and NEM3 is going to force a lot of people to just have to learn and go through this learning curve and, make some mistakes and learn from them like we did in the early days, especially you, throughout the early days of your career in system building. It's not as easy as just selling solar. You don't just average the energy, divide by 5, throw it on the roof and head on down the road. It's a whole nother animal. You have to think about it differently and educate yourself and really go through a learning curve. And it requires patience. It requires customization, right? And that's how I feel. Energy storage is all about customization because everybody's energy needs are different, like their DNA. They're unique. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think as we forecasted it, as we talk about NEM, I think that the NEM storage design is going to be easier than a backup storage design, right? Because they're going to have two different things. Like we're going to have the ability going forward to have systems that will just do peak load shaving, right? And with that kind of reduces the complexity because the goal is going to be to power your loads, charge your battery up, and discharge your battery at a certain amount of time to offset your loads until that battery is discharged. So those calculations should be fairly simple in the long run. Where we run into more issues are when we're doing systems that are designed to be backup-based systems, where they're actually having to carry the loads, right? And because a home could have multiple loads turned on at different times, sizing requirements, because a lot of the batteries that we are seeing now in the market are AC batteries, that it's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's both the storage and the output, right? The inverter. Those sizing requirements have become a little more complex, and as you build these systems, there's design that has to be put in this for what the systems are going to carry. That's been the biggest problem that we've kind of seen as we go forward. The design criteria is very, very demanding that you understand. The NEM should be quite a bit easier, thankfully.
Right. If that's one of the goals of the customer or the goal of the customer, then you just figure out the total kilowatt hours that you're offsetting and bada bing, bada boom, that's your amount of storage. In that case, it can be simplified. But as you mentioned, some customers' why or their goals, their why, their reasoning for getting storage, everyone's why is going to be different. Some people want to back up just fridge, freezer, lights, and have that redundancy in the event of an outage, and they're cool with just their critical loads only. And well, let's figure out how many kilowatt hours that is. Kilowatts of load times total max runtime. You want to have that run during an outage. Boom, there's your storage. But some people want more loads to run than other people. Some people's why or their goals are wanting to back up their whole house. Well, it's not magic. Everybody's house is different. What are you running in your house and for how long? That's almost like sizing an off-grid system darn near, except for you've still got the grid available. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's about asking the customer the right questions, listening to the customer, and then customizing a system around their why or their goals that they give us as installers in this business, right? I mean, you've done that for years. It's all about asking those questions and customizing per what their specific why or what their goals are, right? Customization.
Yeah, and when I was building off-grid systems, it really started around, the hard conversation actually is what their budget was, right? Really, we were building within a budget of what the homeowner could, what they could afford, and you kind of just pick the pieces accordingly, right? You might have had to, predominantly I've seen a lot of systems rely on a little bit of generator runtime in the beginning, and then they were able to incrementally add more solar. When we look at where solar really came from, our origination was really in DC coupled systems, and there was a different type of scalability than where we're at right now. And then that's really kind of been the backbone of solar with off-grid and DC coupled. Now as we get into these, more, grid connected type systems, it's changing a fair amount. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is so exciting. And you're at the forefront of it with Enphase Energy. Jason Andrade, you rock, man. West Coast Sustainables. Look that up. He's got some great videos out there. Look up Jason Andrade on LinkedIn or social media. And he's got some fantastic content that he's created that is very educational. I definitely recommend listeners that you go there and check it out. We want to promote that and all the education that people can possibly get. And again, Jason, you're with Enphase Energy, and Enphase is available here at Soligent through the Beyond Emissions podcast link below. Listeners, check it out. Click on that. You can become an Enphase dealer through Soligent today. Getting ready for NEM3 in California. Time is of the essence. We can get you set up, get you educated, connected with Enphase, become a certified installer, and start helping your customers today. Jason, thank you so much for being on the Beyond Emissions podcast with us. I hope you can come back again in the future. Would you do me a favor and let our listeners know again how they can contact you and any parting thoughts, sir?
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me on your show. It's great to get to connect again. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can just find me at westcoastsustainables.com. Would be the easiest way. And if you have any questions, you can just send them on that way. Jason
Andrade, thank you very much, my friend. All the way back from like 8 years ago in an Outback class, and here we are working together on the same dream, man. You totally rock, good Jason.
Stuff. You too. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, brother. Hang on the line for our engineers. An engineer to hang on the line for the engineer, right? Oh, Pun City.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you, Jason. Welcome every single week. We have it right here. We release it on Fridays at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell in the corner, and be a part of the ongoing conversation that we have every week. Like Jason there, Jason Andrade, West Coast Sustainables. Check out his content. Amazing videos, folks. He's with Enphase Energy. Again, get your Enphase from Soligent for NEM3 in California, especially. Get your certification with Enphase. We can make those connections for you. Just click on the link below in our Soligent YouTube channel comment section. Be a part of the broadcast every single week. Like, subscribe, listen, share this with your installers and your teams. We hope to educate ourselves and you every single week by having experts like Jason and experts from around the world coming on the program and talking about the how, the why, of course, creating a world that is beyond emissions. And how are we going to do that? With experts in technology and education like we're doing right here every single week. So stay tuned. Have a great weekend. And again, thank you so much for tuning in every single week at the Beyond Emissions podcast on Spotify and at the Soligent YouTube channel. Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with Give Power. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about Give Power if it wasn't for our partners, Lone Pal. They've been with Give Power since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by Lone Pal's dedication to the cause. Something Lone Pal said really strikes a chord regarding Give Power, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound Lone Pal's contribution by donating to Give Power on every order paid via our direct pay program through Lone Pal. That's right. Every time your company uses your Lone Pal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot.
Soligent's purpose meets Give Power's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more. CALSSA, CALSSA, stands for California Solar and Storage Association. Join over 700 companies, including Soligent, and become a CALSSA member today. Go to www.calsa.org/join and enter Soligent as the discount code and receive 10% off your first year. Membership starts as low as $500 per year and covers you and your entire company. You can pay in monthly installments or once per year. Why join CALSSA? For over 40 years, CALSSA has been fighting for your rights in California. If you're an installer or contractor in California, it's CALSSA working behind the scenes on your behalf to protect the solar and energy storage business you and your companies rely on each day. Imagine the utilities are totally unchecked without CALSSA fighting for you. CALSSA fights for your rights and also provides resources like direct one-on-one support from their experts to help you with your questions, navigating everything from NEM3 to battery fire code compliance. CALSSA will help you and your company to stay up to date on the latest policy changes that impact the California solar and storage market and your bottom line. Joining CALSSA helps to fund their work to lobby for cutting solar and storage red tape, pass pro-solar laws, and to defend your business from attacks. Become a CALSSA member today at www.calsa.org/join and enter the discount code Soligent to receive 10% off your first year. CALSSA is fighting for you and your business. Join over 700 companies like Soligent and make a difference in the California solar and energy storage market today.